Hi, it's Mona Lisa. Welcome to my channel. So, the topic of today's video is breast health, and I'm talking about this today in light of my most recent experience that most recently happened today. I'll start off with a little background. My mother actually passed away from breast cancer at a very young age, at 58. And because of that, and because of other issues that I had, I've been having mammograms pretty regularly for over 10 years at this point. My most recent annual mammogram, I'm just going to be looking at dates over here, was on December 14th of 2020. Um, and for the past couple of years, I've been doing something called the Enhanced Breast Cancer Detection Mammogram. So what this is actually new technology. It's artificial intelligence that does a little extra work when they do your mammogram to look for any abnormalities. I've done it for the past 2 years, just for security. It's not 100% covered by insurance. I do have to pay a $40 copay when I get it done. Usually mammograms should be completely free, just so you know. Annual mammograms you do not have to pay for. But I figured the extra $40 was worth it. I have pretty good insurance too, so if my insurance didn't cover it, yours probably wouldn't either. So I've been paying for this extra enhanced. It's also known as EBCD. So last year, my mammogram came back clear. This year, my mammogram came back with some abnormalities. Now, this isn't the first time that this has happened to me. I've had at least 2 breast biopsies before a while ago, one in each breast. And for those who don't know, when they do a biopsy on your breast, they put something called a marker. So it's a little tiny piece of metal that they put into your breast so that they know that there was an abnormality there once before. So if it comes up again on a mammogram or on a sonogram or an ultrasound, they'll know that, this was an area that was previously known to have some sort of abnormality. So I've had biopsies before, and they were both ultrasound guided biopsies where I was completely awake, and the doctor did local anesthesia, and they biopsied the area, and that was pretty much it. This time was a little bit different. As you can see, the title of this video is my Stereotactic biopsy. This was very different from what I had done before, but I'll go back to the timeline. So in December 14th, like I said, I had my annual mammogram. 2 days after that, I got a message from my primary care doctor informing me that the radiologist suggested that I have another mammogram called a diagnostic mammo on my left breast. And I was a little annoyed. I thought, hey, I already had a biopsy on this breast before. Why are they belaboring the point? Did they not see the marker? But apparently, the area that was of concern was a little bit behind the marker. So I had to go in I had to schedule a diagnostic mammogram. So I went. Mammograms aren't comfortable, but, if they tell you to go back for another one, I figured let me just go and get it over with. So on January 24th, 2025, I went in for my diagnostic mammogram for just my left breast, and they also did a ultrasound. So I went in, they did the exams, and I thought I was going to be good to go. I thought they were going to say, it's by the marker, sorry to waste your time, have a good day. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. So I got another call. Actually, it was directly after the mammogram and the ultrasound. The nurse came up to me and said, the doctor wants you to have a biopsy. Now, my heart sank. I said, I haven't had a biopsy in like 10 years. Like, what's going on? Isn't it, is this the same spot as where the marker is? Why are they having me do this again? And the nurse said, no, the doctor is adamant that he wants you to go for a biopsy right then and there, that same day. So I kind of took it as urgent. I went to go schedule it. And they actually wanted to schedule it during the week of my planned cruise. And I said, I can't, I'm going away. And then we had to schedule it for a couple weeks after that. So when I first went to go have my biopsy, I had a biopsy previously done before. And the nurse suggested that I take a couple of Advil an hour beforehand just to alleviate any type of pain. So for this one, I thought, hey, I'll do the same thing. So I took a couple of Advil before going and heading out to the doctor's office. When I got there, they started questioning, and I said, yeah, I just took a couple Advil. And they're like, no, we cannot do this procedure. And I was like, well, why? And they said, there's risk of hematoma. You could bleed out. It's dangerous. And I really wanted to get it done because, I had to take a day off of work. Everything is during work hours. But the nurse at that facility actually went and talked to the doctor about it. And then she brought me back into the room. Now, when she brought me into this room where I was going to have the exam, I was flustered. It was a table where there was a hole cut out. And apparently that's where I was going to be having the biopsy. So we talked about it. She let me know my risks. She let me know that because I had taken some Advil, that there could be a risk for hematoma. It could be, it could get larger. It could cause discomfort. It could require drainage. She said it was a risk that I could take, but they wanted to make sure that I was aware of the risk. When I sat there and she told me all of these things, it didn't sit well with me, and I decided to go ahead and put it off and reschedule for another day, which I'm really glad I did. So first piece of advice for any woman that's told that they have to go in for a biopsy, they do put it on the sheet from the doctor, but just so you know, you cannot take any type of Advil 7 days prior to the biopsy. Now, keep in mind, I'm not a medical doctor. This is not medical advice. I'm just relaying the information that I was given. Just as a heads up, please check everything with your doctor, with your nurses, but I'm letting you know what they told me. So because I had taken Advil within 7 days of the procedure, I couldn't have it and I had to reschedule. So I rescheduled the procedure. Now, the second time I went in for the procedure, the room looked completely different. And there was a chair. So I said, I was like, how am I having this procedure? And she's like, oh, you're going to be sitting in the chair, and then we're going to wheel you over in the chair up to the mammogram machine. And she said, it's going to be like a regular mammogram, but there's also going to be the biopsy needle. And I was like, oh. And then I was like, because in the last office I went to, there was like a table. And she was explaining to me that there are different ways that you can do this test, and you can Google it. One of them is where you're actually laying down, which I can imagine is so uncomfortable, and your breast is like protruding through this hole, and then that's where they do the procedure. I don't know. I guess the table or the bed is elevated, and the doctor's underneath, and your boob is hanging through a hole in the table. As if it's not, uncomfortable enough having this done. You're in a really, really awkward position. So that's where I was going to have the initial biopsy in that way. And where I actually had it was where I was sitting down, which I very much preferred. So these are some things, some information I want to pass on to anybody that's interested or, may find themselves in this situation, that there's more than one way that you can have this test done. And if you prefer to be sitting up and, involved in seeing what's going on, that's like I did. That's one option. If you prefer to be laying down, some people may prefer that. Your doctor may prefer that. That's another option. So, I'm saying all of this to say, as an African American woman, unfortunately, there are higher rates. There are higher rates of diagnosis for breast cancer in our community, and I think that it's really good to get the awareness out because, we aren't as proactive with our health as we should be, and I just want to encourage women to not be afraid and to go ahead and do these things if they are needed. But I'll get back to that a little bit later. So walked in, sat in the chair, and you have the little open gown on, nothing underneath, and they wheel you over to the machine. And I'm going to put a picture of the machine up. So while you're sitting there, they put your breast in the machine as if you're having a mammogram, right? But it's just flat. I don't know if you're familiar with mammograms. They kind of move you at different angles, but obviously since you're getting this procedure, you're at you're completely horizontal, as you're about to have the biopsy done. Okay, so your boob is in the machine, and they press down the paddle onto it, and then all of a sudden you feel a little prick. At least that's how my doctor did it, and it was local anesthesia. I just kept my eyes looking away. I didn't want to see anything as it was happening, but I was wide awake, and local anesthesia. And the doctor said, at this point, you shouldn't feel anything. And I didn't. And it was at that point that they inserted the biopsy needle. And I think the needle was within the machine, so nobody had to move. And it was really interesting because the doctor was able to very precisely take out the portion of tissue that she needed, because it was in the machine. Everything was in place, and the needle, I felt a little pressure as a needle went into the breast, and then I felt and heard about like 10 vacuum sounds. I can't even describe it, but I heard the tissue being sucked out of my breast. But and you don't feel anything. So I just want to let you know, if you based on my experiences, I didn't feel anything, but you did hear it. I didn't look. I had my head turned away, and actually the X-ray tech, I guess she was a radiologist technician. She kind of assisted the doctor, but she was just so sweet. She stood to the right of me and was just like rubbing my arm, telling me it's going to be okay, asked me if I was all right, saying it's almost over. She made the experience as pleasant as possible. So after that was done, the doctor, said, okay, we're done. And I was like, oh, okay. And then they put the bandage. They actually put some tissue, gauze over it to stop the bleeding, some pressure for a good, I would say like maybe 5 minutes. They held gauze over the breast to stop the bleeding, and the pressure. They put pressure on it. And when I stood up and got ready to walk out, I saw like the tissue on the screen. So they had the doctor had taken preliminary tissue and put it up on the screen, I guess, under a microscope. So I saw the tissue. And then they said they'd let me know. Okay, so boom, I got through it, right? It was not as bad as I thought it would be. It was not painful at all, thank God. I didn't experience any pain afterwards either. Not even so little pain that I forgot that I was told to ice it. At one point I was like, oh my God, I was supposed to ice, myself. So let me get the ice back. So no pain. Okay, so after that happened, I figured, okay, I got the biopsy. It's going to come back benign. Obviously, I was praying that it came back benign. I was trying to stay positive, trying to, just keep going about my day. Because, at this point, look, I've been dealing with this for at that point when I had the biopsy, two months. I had my original mammogram since December. So it was a lot weighing on my mind, in the back of my mind, just trying to be positive, but continue doing what I have to do amidst all of the other craziness that's going on in the world right now, if you know what I mean. But so had the biopsy. Okay, so about a week goes by, no results. And I kept calling the provider. I haven't got my pathology reports. What's going on? They said, well, we'll hear from you. Came to a point where my doctor, my PCP, put a little note in my portal saying, hey, get your pathology reports. And I'm like, I'm trying, I'm reaching out. Nobody has them yet. So get the pathology reports back. And it says it's benign, but they want me to go for a surgical consultation because it's high risk. Oh boy, here we go. The words I was hoping to see, benign, right? Which means non-cancerous. So that's the goal. But there was this little caveat where they said it was high risk and they wanted me to get further evaluation by a surgeon for possible excision. So, it was a little scary at this point. It had been scary the whole time, but here's when things got real, right? They want me to see yet another doctor. I've never gotten to this point before. It always been mammogram, looks a little funky, let's do biopsy. This happened twice before. So I was hoping that biopsy, benign, we're done here. So this is the first time where I've gotten to another step. Okay, so this is scary. It was a little scary now, and I want to let anybody know that if you're going through the same thing, if you've experienced this, like it's okay to be scared, but you cannot let the fear take over you, right? You have to do what you have to do. You have to go for the consultation. You have to stay positive. You have to face it on, okay? Because I know that there's a lot of women that they'll say, oh, it says benign, whatever, I'm not going to go for it. I'm just going to let it go, and it'll be fine. Like, do all the steps that they tell you to do. And again, I'm not a doctor, but I'm letting you know my mentality is like, hey, it's tough, okay? And it's not easy, and it's very scary. I was going to say it's a little scary, but it's very scary. It doesn't get any scarier than this. So I want to let you know, like, I felt it, okay? And I really felt like just kind of like, I'm just going to let it go. I can't face this. This is another step. It's foreign. I don't want to hear what they're going to tell me. And even my PCP had told me that it could mean that there might be cancer underneath the area that they biopsy, that there may be other areas that need to be biopsied, and that, I need to go to do this. So it was a very scary thing. My very best friends was like very instrumental in me handling this, being a sounding board, her encouraging me, and just letting me know that, I have to do this and I can do this, and it's going to be okay either way. So I hope you all have someone like that in your life. But if you don't, I'm here for you, and I want to let you know that you can do this. It's going to be okay. And, you got this, and just be brave. So today was the day, right? Today was the day that I went to see my surgeon, and she was lovely. She was a young doctor, which was really cool to see. And I actually trust the young ones because I feel like they've got something to prove. They're fresh out of school, so they know all the latest, technologies and everything. We joked about the two different types of biopsies, and she's happy that I actually did the sitting one and not the laying down one, because we both thought it was very weird. But here we go. What's the results? Well, my surgeon doesn't think I need to have surgery, okay? She says, based on the fact that I don't have any other symptoms, based on the size of my mass, and other factors, even taking into account my family history, she does not think that I need to go do surgery, which is what I wanted to hear, right? But it's not over yet, because they're going to watch me closely. They're going to monitor me instead of every year, every 6 months now, which I welcome. And we're also going to be doing genetic testing to see, which I've never actually gotten, the BRCA testing. If anybody knows about breast health, that's basically the breast cancer gene, right? Do I have it or do I not? So we're going to do the BRCA testing, and then we're going to figure out what steps can be done after there. But so today was, after the turmoil of dealing with this since about mid-December, I have a little bit of a reprieve. No surgery in the immediate future. No cancer still, thank God. And we're just going to monitor the situation a little bit more closely. And instead of every year, like I said, every 6 months. So that's my story. I wanted to share it with anybody that may be interested. If they just got the news that they too have to have a stereotactic biopsy, I wanted to let anybody else know, that it's not as scary as it seems. You can do it. Be brave, be strong. And also I wanted to say that right before I was going to have my biopsy, I actually did look on YouTube to see if there were anybody else or any other videos talking about it, explaining it, and talking about their experiences. And I only saw one. And it wasn't even an African-American woman. And like I was saying earlier, unfortunately, we are diagnosed with breast cancer at higher rates. So, and, I think, I just feel like it might help to see this coming from another woman of color if, they are faced in the same situation that I was there. I did it. I lived to tell the story. And, I want to encourage you, if you have to go for additional testing, if surgery is even a possibility, make sure you follow up and do what the doctors suggest that you do. Okay, so that's just what I wanted to share today in this video. And I think, like I was saying earlier, the reason why I started this channel is because people ask me questions. How did you get your hair like that? How did you grow your hair? What is your skincare routine like? And I figured I wanted to share that information through the videos. And then I figured, like any other situations like this, where if there's a situation that happens in my life that I can help influence someone or encourage someone, I wanted to do that. So I hope that, if this video helps one person dealing with the situation, that's just, that'd be amazing. But as things come up in life and as I face challenges, I want to share with other people, let you know that if the same thing happens to come up in your world and you may be facing it, you got this, you can do this. And don't be afraid, be brave, be strong. It's better to know than not to know, right? And listen to your doctors, and you will be okay. And I guess that's it. So thank you for watching. If you like this type of content, things come up in my life, unfortunately, more frequently than I would think for others. So I doubt this will be the last type of video like this. Hopefully it's the last health-wise video, but I always tend to find myself in precarious situations. So if you like this type of content, please like this video and subscribe. And I'm wishing you all good health and happiness and good vibes, motivation. And like my little cards say and my little shorts post, we're all in this together. So any advice, any love, or any encouragement I can share with you guys, I will. All right, take care.